Hello and welcome to this really short guide for people if you're wanting to export spatially referenced data into ArcMAP and then generate different sized dots, I guess, based on that information. So firstly, if you've got an Excel sheet such as this one here, you're going to need some sort of spatially referenced information. So here I've got some OSGB values, at least in this top part. So positions basically in 6 digits where each of these sample positions were collected. You can see the sample number here. I've then got a series of other information that's obviously numerical. In this example, I'm looking at lead values or heavy metal values in church graveyard soils. So this is in a specific tab. Again, you might have different data sets in there that I've got here, for example, from different depths of soil. Control data, for example, might be quite useful to plot as well. And even some from a particular grave that we managed to collect some data from. So there's some input information. What do you need? You probably want to put the sample number, the easting and northern, so you've got X, Y positions, and then some sort of value. So here I've got raw data, but I've also had it corrected with reference to a control site. So I'm going to probably pick a few of these corrected values, press copy. So Control C, Control N, because I'm on a PC, to paste this, or paste special. You want to paste values, not coordinates or anything, into ArcMAP. So you don't want, obviously, statistics. It doesn't tend to like spaces in the header files, so you need to get rid of those as well. Let's do that quickly. Doesn't tend to like missing, hang on, see you. Doesn't like missing data either, so I might just delete the rows where I don't have copper, for example. There's quite a few here actually, so I don't know if that's sensible because then I'll lose a lot of the other data. But that's what I'm going with. So I can directly compare the different heavy metals together. Also doesn't tend to like a lot of decimal places, so again not super useful. So I can hopefully get rid of some of them. There we go. Might do that with these ones as well. That will do, I think. Maybe 2 decimal places will be okay. Okay, then you need to save this file somewhere sensible. I call this test or lead level, heavy metals maybe. Doesn't like things more than 8 characters generally, so be careful. Just save that somewhere sensible. This one is a forensic example. So normally, rather than Excel textbook, I think you can do it as an Excel sheet, but it's probably simpler to use it as a text tab delimited one. This .txt file. I'm saving that. Close it, importantly. Okay, then go to ArcMAP. So it's normally in your start menu as ArcGIS. So at the minute I'm using ArcMAP 10.7. I think there's ArcMAP Pro these days, so you can use that instead. When you open that, it comes up with a file. What do you want to open? So new, for example, or open something you've already existing one you've already made. Notice the MXD is the format type for the saving the project when you're finished. So here I've already had a files and I've added some multi-map data. So this is a map plot showing where the church is, the orange bit in the middle. I've got green grass of the graveyard itself, obviously a grey road around it, and other buildings outside of the area as well. What else doing there? Okay, so I've got my base map in OSGB coordinates, 6 figures, the same one as the data I've already got, which is great. I now need to add some data. So if you're doing a new one, for example, new blank map, it's the same system. So you add data. So this add, you either go file, add data, or you just use the default shortcut there, add data, adding a map, for example. Just stick it in there. It should come in as a map there. Notice here you've got a view in here. You've got the contents. This second one across, list by source, and this one's list by drawing order. So that's important because the top one on this list is the one that's viewed on top of the bottom ones. On this right hand page, I'm on layout view. If you want to be on world view, it's like a big sort of map basically. And if you want to go, click on this world. If you want to go to full extent, it's quite useful. Normally layout is more handy though, because you can see where things are. Go back to that one I've just made. That's probably this. Let me remove this for you because we're going to do that again. Okay. Things in here to think about. You can make the page and print setup landscape or portrait in there under page print setup. You can see there, portrait, landscape, and or make it your own size, whatever you like. I'm going to go for landscape because it fits the map better in this one. Adding data then, I'm going to add that data that we just looked at just now. So what I just made, assessments, trace report, is it, I think. I've got it in here actually. Yeah, there it is. And data. All right, so you can see it's in here. In this, it's already gone the default into the list by source. You can see it's down there. It's not in here yet. So what I need to do with this is on this source second code, right mouse click on that and go display XY data. X is easting, Y is northing. That looks okay. Sometimes you've got to click these on, sometimes you've got to click them off. Depends if it picks up or not. If it might, you might have a wobbling crash. It's not the most stable of software. It's not liking this. Sometimes you've got to click the warn me tab. You can do it. Yeah. Okay, let's try that again. Click on warn me this time. Yeah, as I said, it's a little bit faffy. So now it has liked it, but still not showing on the map. That's because if we go across to list by drawing order on the left, it'll be at the bottom. So you need to click on it to highlight it and then hold the left mouse button down and drag it to the top of this list. And now they appear. So each of those dots is using those easting and northings values that we gave it to plot where they're likely to, where we want them to be. If you want to map them though by their whatever the metal elements concentrations were in this type. Oh yeah, label features, by the way. If you want to know which one's which, you can click on that and it'll label them by the sample number if that's useful. You can just say, oh well, this one's this one. That's quite handy. If you want to label them by their or show them by their size, you have to. I'm still in this list by drawing order. Notice I go to properties. So right mouse click on it, click on properties. Go to symbology tab. So there's different tabs up here. I think you go down to quantities and then say lead, for example, and it can give you those different, classify them into different sizes between those default ranges. You can change these numbers if you want to. So that's one way of doing it. So you'll see now it's created our map showing the different sized elements, and you can put a key on for you as well. So what those different types are, though I'm not sure about all those decimal places. You should be able to format that in here. So if you click on one of these, right mouse click on one, I think format label, and then under here you can put number of decimal places 2, for example, just so people don't moan at you then to say, oh, are you really that accurate? So that looks a bit better, doesn't it? So that's the lead one, for example. So after that, I'd probably copy that into some other sort of software. Same thing again. You just pick say manganese, for example. Apply that. It should show some different values. I think you can change this template so you can have different colours, which might be handy. So you can just click on the dot and then go. Actually, I want I don't know, green. Maybe red. And press apply, and it should change the colour if that makes it easy. So that's one method. Leads on there on that type of method of making these symbols. There are other ways of doing it as well. You can display things. You can make them proportional if you wanted to. So let's go back to lead. unknown units. So you can make the minimum value a little bit larger by clicking on it and then making the style a bit larger, perhaps. Number of symbols in the column, you can make them just 3 if you wanted to. That's a different method of showing the data, and it automatically picks up on the key, which is quite handy. So that's another way of doing it. You just play around with them and see which ones you like best. I hope that's useful for you to plot your data.